It is said, often by our mothers, that we are looking a bit peaky or under the weather, even when we do not notice ourselves. Now researchers have discovered that humans have an ability to pick up the subtle signs that show someone is sick within minutes of them getting an infection. Some signs of sickness are obvious, such as a violent cough or the spots on the face in measles. These are obvious enough to ensure the ill person gets a wide birth.But. In an illustration of the amazing power of the human brain, a glance of a few seconds was enough for observers tell if people had just caught a nasty bug. Researchers found that certain almost imperceptible facial changes announce we are poorly, and these can be detected by people with no medical training. This may be because they look similar to someone who is ill, and we are shunning them to protect ourselves from disease. To see if humans can visually detect the early stages of sickness, researchers injected volunteers with two solutions. One contained harmless sugar water. The other contained a chemical compound extracted from E. coli bacteria intended to make the recipient feel ill. Some 1,649 people were struck down with flu in England and Wales as temperatures plummeted over the week of Christmas. The Public Health England data shows cases have soared by 48% in a period of 7 days and are higher than previous winters. It comes amid anticipation of the worst winter on record for the NHS, despite last year's being branded a humanitarian crisis by the Red Cross. Doctors have described corridors overflowing with patients and ambulances being forced to queue outside E as the winter flu season begins to take hold. The rocketing number of flu cases has been put down to a surge in two aggressive subtypes attacking the population simultaneously. One includes the so-called Aussie flu, a strain of influenza A which wreaked havoc on hospitals in Australia during the country's winter. The H3N2 subtype triggered 2.5 times the normal number of cases in Australia. When detected in our bodies, our immune system sounds the alarm and prepares to defend the body from attack, triggering inflammation in the infected area. After 2 hours, pictures were taken of the faces of both those given the sickness-causing jab and the others receiving the harmless jab. These pictures were shown to observers for a few seconds. Despite the pictures looking similar, observers were able to detect in 81% of cases 13 out of 16 individuals as being sick better than chance. The 16 volunteers were all white, non-smokers, non-obese, moderate drinkers aged between 19 and 34. The authors said, "These results demonstrate that untrained people can, above chance level, identify acutely sick individuals from merely observing a photo for a few seconds." Lead researcher John Axelsson of the Stress Research Institute at Stockholm University and colleagues said previous research has found that people showing sickness behaviors such as coughing respond with disgust and anxiety. He said what is less well known is how well we can detect sickness from observing human faces in the early stages of infection. The study said that unlike previous research, the photos here were taken in an experimental setting with neutral facial expressions only 2 hours after onset of a systemic inflammation. This supports the notion that humans have the ability to detect signs of illness in an early phase after exposure to infectious stimuli. The researchers said people are likely to have developed the ability as it is particularly beneficial to identify sick individuals at an early stage of sickness, when risk for contagion is high. Professor Axelsson said, "This is just a first step. Personalized artificial intelligence will be able to pick up these signs in the future." You will look in an app, which will say, "Maybe you have an infection today." The research was published in Proceedings V, a Royal Society journal.